All right, this is a part of Mentoring Mondays. I'm here with the past ICC president, Dwayne Garriss. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy day to help me with this, with the emerging leaders. Just going to go through a few questions with you and just kind of go from there, and we'll be a little organic. It's not exactly by the script, and we'll go from there.
All right.
So I guess we starting off, just kind of tell us who mentored you and how did you meet?
Well, I had several mentors throughout my life, but I guess in the code aspect, I started with Jackie Gibbs, the city of Marietta, fire marshal at that time. He then became chief of Marietta. He sort of got me hooked into state government and being a plans examiner. The mentor there was Raymond Hall, who was a registered FPE in the state, and he was the deputy state fire marshal, and basically took me under his wings and taught me the aspects of understanding codes and when things, how you read the code books a little bit, which got me more interested in taking some more classes myself to expand my horizons. And then when I got involved in the SBCCI at that time and the ICC now, in 2000, again, I had a lot of good help that pulled me in and took me under their wings and showed me the ropes of the code hearings. And before you know it, when you start asking to do things, they give you the assignments and more stuff to do. The more you do successfully, the more they're going to give you to expand your horizons. And I think that's the thing of a good mentor is they challenge you a lot to push yourself. And so I've had several.
All right, can you recall a specific instance that their judgment that influenced your career, something that you saw and it just said, this is where I need to be, and this is kind of how I feel?
Well, again, I was actually in architecture when I got sort of introduced into maybe this is something you want to do. Again, with Jackie Gibbs, the fire marshal of Marietta at that time, I had a project in the city of Marietta that I was working through, which was a renovation of an old Methodist church into a office supply company. And so I had to do a lot of code research and going through and getting the plans permitted and the project inspected and stuff. Jackie seemed to understand that I really enjoyed that part of it, and started doing some of the code research for the firm itself, Chegwood and Dorsey Homes. And again, he saw something in me that I didn't, thought I might be interested in it, and got me started in 1988 with that. And so now 30 years later almost in the code business, and I really enjoyed expanding it.
All right, so what would you say to a young man or woman who's thinking about entering into the building safety profession?
Well, I'm actually been out recruiting people, trying to, that's part of my job as a state fire marshal. But even so, some of my kids' friends, talking to them about, hey, have you ever thought about this aspect, that it's fun, it's challenging. Fire protection engineering is something, if you're an engineer. Again, I had a degree in architecture, never been a fireman or a firefighter myself, but the architectural side helped me understand the building better. I could visualize things, and what I really enjoyed about the aspect is getting the opportunity to help people solve the problem, that fix what they're trying to do, but still make it code compliant.
That's right.
So that was fun.
All right, so on the other end of the spectrum, what would you say to someone who's a veteran professional that will be retiring in the next 5 years?
You need to start mentoring your replacement. I'm retiring at the end of this year, I think. And I've been trying to work on that for 2 years of mentoring folks up. But one of the things I've told some of my staff and others is I have no problem teaching you anything you want to know, but I want to know that you want to know it, because it's one thing to try to force it down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
You're not interested, you don't care, then you're not going to learn it. But if you're really interested and want to learn it, there's so many tricks of the trade that you can get people to think about. now with fire modeling and evaluations that you have to do with buildings that are all open and have communicating spaces and stuff, that's something that's really an art that you got to really think about the next step. You know, what could really happen. The one thing I think I would tell them is don't limit yourself. There again, somebody saw some potential in me, and I think I said this in my presidential speech. You saw potential in me that I never saw in myself before, and that's something I would tell anybody that's looking at in any kind of career is don't put a limit on just what you're educated in or what you think you want to do, because there are so many things, especially with technology and stuff moving today, that is, you're just not even thinking of the future.
That's right. Both of us actually, it's interesting that we both came from the University of Tennessee.
Yeah.
We both graduated.
Go Vols.
That's right. We both graduated with architecture degrees, and both of us are
Code officials.
So I think it does show that there are different avenues to go when you get your architecture degree. But if sometimes if things happen and you may get pulled in a different direction. So I think those are great things.
And that's something that I would say is, and I've been telling code officials, go to your architectural schools and go to the juries and teach them the parts of the real world.
That's right.
A different view, and then start doing recruiting there, because not everybody wants to be a designer, but they really like architecture itself. And I think that's really an aspect that we could expand into.
All right, so kind of on the parameters now of learning to be a mentor, how did you feel the first time someone asked you for your professional advice on their career?
Well, to be honest with you, inadequate. I mean, it's and privilege at the same time. It's something that you're very cautious about, because you may have an influence that you don't expect on that individual. But obviously, they are looking up to you for an outview they may not be aware of or something. So, I'm flattered. It really made you feel good that maybe I'm doing something right. I'm making a difference in the world. And, the more and more I used to be a very shy, quiet person.
I find that very hard to believe.
There's a lot of people that just say that, but it's something that when you start realizing that what you say and believe in does matter, it makes a difference. So, when somebody asks me about their professional advice and stuff, I try to give them many options, things to think through. Tell them to come back, and after they thought that through, we'll talk again a little bit to give them some advice. But a lot of times you get real narrow focused, and you really the one thing about board service and being in different organizations I've been in is looking at the big pictures of things a whole lot different than when you're strictly focused on one thing.
All right. Kind of on the ICC vein of things, how has ICC's growth helped you find mentorship, and what has the value of ICC been to your career?
Well, ICC has been great to my career. Again, when I started with that process on wanting to get involved in the codes in 2000, I never thought about serving on a committee. I got pulled into the Fire Code Council at that time before they re-engineered to the Fire Service Membership Governing Councils and stuff. But by having that group, getting an opportunity to talk to others about some problems that you face as a state, as an organization, as a code official, it's nice to know that you're not the only one with those issues. It's also nice to know that it gives you some guidance and ways to handle some situations that others have faced. We just built this wonderful new stadium, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I called several governments that just built stadiums that they were putting items in there that we've never seen before. They had done some research, they've their success with it and stuff like that. And now we're getting calls ourselves to say, how did y'all do this here? And so passing that language across very well is a lot of fun, and the mentorship there is good. So, you know, the fellowship and the opportunities we have to talk to each other in the various groups is great. You know, with emerging leaders itself, they themselves are mentors to me. The eagerness, the excitement, the passion they have is something that I know I've grown into, but I wish I had it way back then, because then I was real focused on, let's just get this little job done.
All right, kind of back in that vein of Mercedes-Benz and technology, you've had the opportunity to watch technology change building inspection and construction industries. What changes do you see for our future, and what steps do you think we should be doing to be ready for that future?
Wow! So when I started, we had no computers, no cell phones, didn't even have pagers then. We used 5-page duplication on onion skin paper and typing memos. So we've come a long ways. I see in the future, though, I see the ability of putting in possibly a set of plans through the BIM system, or you know, some kind of CAD drawing that will automatically scan and look for code problems. So really, you're trying to I see more than us as one of the first steps of the building process compliance. That's sort of being automated, and then I see us being more and more really learning how the buildings come together, and that part being, I'm not sure you'll ever get rid of the human in that aspect of code compliance, because I don't think drones and stuff can see everything that a human can see as easy, especially in crawl spaces and things like that. But I see, you know, drones being used for inspections on top of roofs and things right now, which I never would have believed. You know, we've got a new device, this first time ever being used in the country, a double stacked elevator that's getting ready to go into a building downtown Atlanta that we're looking at. This first one in the country, and so we're on the edge of learning about it and trying to evaluate it. That somebody, I'm sure, down the road that'll be an everyday system in the future.